We have some brand new, exciting information about Tassadar's rework that's coming soon. As you may know, I am a bit of a Tassadar-holic myself, and I am desperately waiting for this damn rework to show up so I could finally play this hero once again, because it's so much fun, but at the same time he's kind of meaningless at the moment, which makes me a bit sad. So, let's have a look at this new information from Blizzard developer D. Warner. This is from a thread called Don't Take Tassadar's Wall Away. Essentially, this thread was, we like Force Wall, don't take it away. So, we're still not ready to showcase the whole Tassadar rework, but I wanted to pop in and share a little bit of information where it seemed appropriate. The current plan is that Force Wall becomes a base ability replacing Dimensional Shift. That's his E talent. Sorry, his E ability, which becomes its own talent, so it's probably going to become an active ability. Being that this ability was a fully viable heroic choice on its own, we think it's appropriate to make a number of adjustments, including its cooldown, which probably will get increased, duration, which will probably get decreased, mana cost, range, and birth delay to bring it more in line with a basic ability. By birth delay, it means like some sort of like channeling maybe, I don't know. There is currently a toned down version of the Force Barrier talent still in his kit, i.e. the rework kit, as well as some new talents. Fantastic. And now, to draw attention to the fact that Tassadar has an empty heroic option, let the speculation commence. So this is going to be the entire point of this video, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to be speculating on some new heroics. What we know from previous AMAs is that Tassadar is going to be tuned to become a, quote, where is it? Spellcaster fantasy playstyle that you would expect from a High Templar, specifically referring to the Legacy of the Void opening cinematic, where we saw the High Templars using Psystorm and also merging two High Templar together to form a full-on Archon, which was really exciting. Now, of course, Tassadar already has his Archon, so we don't really need to worry about that, but I am expecting to see way more power, and I do mean way more power, on Psystorm, and now we know that Force Wall is going to be his third basic ability, which means it's going to be very exciting. Let's see what other changes come soon. So, I have three possible ideas that are specifically based around StarCraft lore. That's going to be summoning Gantry Saw, which is, well, I'll explain that in a second, Hallucinate, and Feedback. Three ultimate abilities that I think potentially, like, maybe one of them is going to be an ultimate ability and the other two might end up being actives as well. I don't know. We'll see. But, and I'm going to channel Joe Rogan for a second.
It's entirely possible
that we end up with some totally bizarre, unheard of, brand new ability for an ultimate, such as Dimensional Shift, because Dimensional Shift was never a thing in StarCraft, so when Tassadar had Dimensional Shift, I was like, where did that come from? So let's go into these three ideas with some more details. Alright, so the first of the ultimates is going to be Gantry Saw. Gantry Saw was Tassadar's, like, super carrier, which could be controlled during the final mission for StarCraft 1. This is the final Protoss mission for StarCraft 1, of course. Now, if Tassadar were to end up with Gantry Saw, that would probably mean that we're not going to be seeing Cylindris anytime soon, which would be a little bit unfortunate. I'm kind of really excited for Cylindris if she would ever show up, but that's okay, whatever. So, there's a couple of notable things about Gantry Saw in the lore of StarCraft 1. First off, because it's a carrier, it means that it attacks with interceptors. So, for example, if I were to attack one of my own carriers, then those flying things that fly out, those are in fact the interceptors. The second thing about Gantry Saw is that it is known to actually have a laser that can destroy battle cruisers. There are a handful of super carriers, and I believe this is a fact of super carriers specifically, as opposed to just carriers in general, that the middle of the carrier actually has a giant laser that can destroy big flagships like battlecruisers. Great. Awesome. And finally, the third thing is that the supercarrier Gantry Saw was last used to destroy the Overmind by basically ramming into the Overmind, and Tassadar would then use his Void channeling abilities to destroy the Overmind. So with this information, with this background information informing our idea about Gantry Saw, let's have a look at some of the mechanics that we could potentially use with Gantry Saw. The first one is that Gantry Saw could end up being like Tassadar's sort of calling down the support of 8 interceptors, because a carrier has at maximum 8 interceptors, both in StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2. So this would probably end up being like Reyna's Raiders, but instead of having just one Banshee, it becomes 8 interceptors, so it'll be basically Raiders times 8. I don't think this is going to be likely, simply because it sounds really boring to me, and I would probably recommend something else. One of the things that I would recommend instead would be that Tassadar jumps into the super carrier itself, and that would be really hilarious if Tassadar has 2 ultimates that allow him, to transform into different units. The first one, of course, being Archon, transforms into an Archon, and then the second one being Gantry Saw, transforms into a super carrier. Interesting. If this were the case, then I'm expecting this one to be more likely the case. If we end up with Gantry Saw as the ultimate, then this will probably be like Tychus's Odin ability, where Tassadar in the form of Gantry Saw gets a new set of abilities. One of those abilities would be the Interceptors. That would actually be more of a passive than an active ability. And then the second one would probably be the Laser, although I expect this to maybe be a level 20 ultimate. I don't know. Now, in StarCraft 1, Gantry Saw did enjoy the use of support units such as the Arbiters, which meant that like the entire fleet was able to sort of teleport from one side to the other, from one part of space to the other. So perhaps another ability for Gantry Saw would be like a giant warp. Could be nice. I don't know. It is an ultimate ability. We could go nuts. But yeah. So yeah, the giant space laser as well. This could either be a level 10 ultimate ability as part of Gantry Saw, or it could be a level 20. If it is a level 20, then that's cool. But if it's only a level 10 ability, then I would expect the level 20 version of Gantry Saw to be one that can actually crash into the enemy team and essentially nuke them. That could be interesting. I don't know, but we're just spitballing here at the moment with Gantry Saw. So those are some of the ideas for Gantry Saw. Let's move on to the next ultimate ability called Hallucinate. Alright, so our next ultimate is going to be Hallucination. Hallucination is a fascinating ability where you get to copy a unit that you already control in your army. So for example, we have these units that are on the field at the moment. In StarCraft 1, not StarCraft 2. In StarCraft 1, we are only allowed to hallucinate the units that we already have. So, for example, if we don't have ourselves a carrier, we can't hallucinate a carrier. But if we have a Reaver on the field, we can make ourselves 2 new Reavers that are fake, that will do no damage, that can't even use any bombs, or we could press L and hallucinate another 2 Zealots, and here is a fake Zealot that's running around doing stuff. That's great, does no damage, or we hallucinate a hallucinator carrier. And here is our 2 carriers. Now, because we are looking at the StarCraft 1 version as the StarCraft 2 version, as that one makes the most sense, that would probably mean that this ability, whether it be an ultimate or whether it actually be an active instead, it means that you can only copy heroes on your team that you already have. Because it just simply makes no sense to hallucinate a Vala when your team is made up of Cho'Gall, Sonya, and Hanzo. Like, the enemy team will look at that Vala and be like, you guys don't have a Vala on your team. Well, that's gotta be a fake, right? So instead, what you could do is you could potentially hallucinate a Cho'Gall. And now there's 2 Cho'Galls running around the field. It could be fun. Now, I would expect this ability to probably have a low cooldown, even if it's an ultimate, maybe 10 seconds, simply because you're just creating a copy that doesn't do that much damage, or it does a bit of damage and it does 50% damage. I don't know. Now, here's the insane part about Hallucination, and this could be very, very interesting if Blizzard decides to go this way. If the Blizzard development team or the HOTS development team decides to go this way, which is, what if we could control our hallucination? Like, almost fully control the hallucination. Now, keep in mind, we're not Abathar. Abathar's Evolved Monstrosity allows you to control... Sorry, not Evolved Monstrosity. Ultimate Evolution allows you to control that ultimate evolution. But as Abathar, you have in your control panel 3 abilities that you get to use, Q, W, E. With Tassadar though, what if you could control your Hallucination's abilities as well as your own? Q, W, E, that's Tassadar's abilities. And then 1, 2, 3 active abilities. So for example, we have, let's take Vala, right? So we hallucinate a Vala. So now there's 2 Valas on your team that are running around. Okay, cool. The regular Vala is just doing the regular Vala stuff. Your Tassadar, you have your QWE, so let's assume that Shield is still staying around. Shield, Psystorm, and Force Barrier that you have to keep an eye on, so you get to use those abilities. But at the same time, your hallucinated Vala can use Hungering Arrow, probably does 50% damage, I don't know. Multi-Shot, probably does 50% damage, I don't know. And can Vault. That could be pretty fun. That could be pretty fun, to be able to use 6 abilities at once from 2 different heroes. I don't know, man. I don't know, this could be dope. This could be dope. It'll probably require like 1,000 IQ. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think about this particular idea, because I think introducing an ultimate that is like stupid hard to use as opposed to Archon, which is, let's be real here, rather easy to understand. Just turn into an Archon, you have a lot of health, you do quite a lot more auto attack damage to splashes, and you still have access to your basic abilities. Cool! What if you use Hallucinate instead, and you have a second hero, and you can like do all sorts of random shit? Maybe then Hallucinate becomes absurdly overpowered. I don't know. If that were to be the case, that you get to control 6 abilities at once, Hallucinate will probably have to be on like a full minute and a half cooldown. I don't know. But let me know what you think about this idea. Now let's move on to the next and final idea, which is feedback, which we'll actually be jumping into SC2 for. Alright, so for our third and final ultimate idea, we have feedback. Now, feedback was given to High Templar in StarCraft 2 because it used to exist on Dark Archons, and Dark Archons don't exist anymore. So, the idea with feedback is that it simply removes all of the energy from a target enemy, and then it deals damage based on how much energy was removed. In StarCraft 2, that has been reduced to 50%. So for example, we have an Infestor that has 200 energy but only 90 health. So this ability insta-kills. It will also insta-kill a High Templar because a High Templar only has 80 effective health, so that's an insta-kill right there. But a Battle Cruiser no longer has energy, so that's completely irrelevant. But a Raven has 140 health, so feedback would not immediately kill the Raven. So that's how feedback generally works. It drains all of the energy, and then it deals damage based on that amount of energy. Now, I suspect feedback might end up being an active ability just simply because of the way it works, but at the same time, the way feedback works right now in StarCraft 2, I would actually not be surprised at all if it turns into an ultimate ability, because you are deleting all of the energy from a target hero if it were to end up being in StarCraft 2. That would be pretty insane. The ability to press one button and essentially shut down a mage, or shut down an ETC mosh pit because they don't have any energy to actually throw the mosh pit. It takes 25 seconds for ETC to regenerate all of the 100 energy, or 100 mana rather, that he needs in order to do mosh pit. Just mosh pit by itself. So, if Tassadar were to get feedback in the form that it currently exists in StarCraft, that could be pretty high. That could be pretty hard ass. I don't know. So, just based on the fact that we are removing someone's entire mana pool or entire energy pool, this ability would probably be a stupid strong ultimate. And it would be a really interesting change from using Archon. Hey, I want to use Archon, I will become a big ball of death that does damage. Or, hey, I see you guys are using a mage for most of your damage, I'm going to shut down that mage. And literally shut their ass down to the point where they basically have to hearth back and then try again. That probably means that the cooldown for feedback is also going to be a little bit long, possibly more than the full minute mark. I don't know. That's just me spitballing. Now, In terms of the damage though, it's not going to do that much damage. If we at level 10 see a Kale, the Kale with full mana addict, so that's an additional 300 mana, has 890 mana, and at level 10 has 2251 health. That means with feedback in its current state, where you lose 50% of that energy in the form of damage, if that makes sense, that Kale would only lose 445 health, which is just a little under 20% of his health. But that's with one ability. You could still consider that strong-ish, I don't know. At level 10, you have Kel'Thuzad with 590 mana, because it doesn't have Mana Addict, and he has 2140 health, so he would lose only 295 health, which is a little under a seventh. Some 13 odd percent of his health. And then at level 13, you would have Minga. Now, even with Minga, with Glass Cannon, therefore losing 15% of her health to do 15% more damage, at level 13, she has 620 mana, so she would lose 310 health, which is still just a little bit under a fifth of her health. So no matter what you do, we're looking at somewhere between the 17-ish mark and the 20-ish mark in terms of how much damage you're going to be doing, at least against mages. Against tanks, you're going to be doing even less damage. Against other assassins, you might actually be able to do more damage. I don't know, but either way. And also, feedback is probably not going to work on any enemy hero that doesn't have energy. So if you're going up against a team that's like Cho'Gall, Murky, Abathar, Oriel, you probably don't want to pick feedback, because that's going to be a dead ability. So, based on that, it would make more sense for it to be an active, but based on the way that feedback works, it would make more sense to be an ultimate. I don't know. Let me know what you think feedback should be in the comments below. Alright, to summarize these three ideas for Tassadar's new ultimate, we have Gantry Saw, which is of course the big ass carrier, so that could end up being Raiders times 8, or it could be another version of Odin. I don't know. We have Hallucinate, which could turn into a 1000 IQ ultimate. Could be fun. And we have Feedback, which would obviously be a very nasty OP anti-mage ultimate, so I don't know, good luck balancing that. Anyway, really excited to see what other changes are going to be coming to your mighty Tassadar, because, you know, I do really love Tassadar, and I can't wait to see some of his new abilities. So, we're also going to be seeing him jumping into his Templar roots again, which is really exciting, but otherwise, yeah. Also, because he's turning into like full-on Protoss mage, we're probably going to need a new Protoss support hero. Who that's going to be, I don't know. But either way, hope you guys enjoy this. Let me know what you think about all of this and what you would like to see for Tassadar's new ultimates in the comments below. Remember, the ones that I came up with are purely based on his lore as opposed to some weird new ones like Dimensional Shift. If you have some other ideas, feel free to leave them in the comments below. There could actually be other Protoss abilities. I don't know. But otherwise, if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more Heroes of the Storm content, especially when the Tassadar Rework comes out. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye!